Good morning, dear friends. Welcome to GK Launch on Air. As you know, the launch was delayed and we are happy to greet our viewers on today's launch coverage. Our broadcast is dedicated to an event that can be called ordinary. This is the launch of the CAS500-1 spacecraft with small spacecraft and CubeSats from 18 countries, which is a record for this type of mission. Today, Soyuz 2.1A launch vehicle with the Fregat upper stage will inject 38 satellites into their target orbits. It will deliver payloads to the required orbits with a high degree of accuracy. The operator of this event is GK Launch Service, a company responsible for commercial launches of Soyuz 2 family launch vehicles from Russian cosmodromes. It is a safe and efficient tool for commercial access to space, yet affordable and cost-effective. And so I'm very happy to extend my warm welcome to my fellow presenter in today's broadcast and the person who knows everything about this launch. This is Evgeny Solodovnikov, Sales Director of GK Launch Services. Good morning, Evgeny. Good morning, Irina. Good morning, everyone. It's good to be here today with you. Yes, and can you tell me how is the mission getting ready today?
Well, I can tell you that GK Launch was founded in 2017 by the decision of ROSCOSMOS to offer Soyuz 2 commercial launch services using Soyuz 2 family launch vehicle. In 2017, we signed a contract for the launch of CAS500-1 with Korea Aerospace Research Institute, or KARI, and as a primary payload for our mission. And in 2018-2019 timeframe, we were signing contracts with the secondary payloads for this launch.
Yes, and I see that your company was working towards today during a lot of years, some years. And how is the mission getting ready?
Well, our task as a launch provider is to implement and coordinate efforts of a Russian industry team involved in preparation of a launch mission. And we provide cost-effective and affordable solutions to our customers. And we're happy to be flexible in in responding to customers' needs, which helps us expeditiously resolve any issues that may pop up during preparation of a launch mission. Usually this process involves fulfillment of a number of complex technical tasks, such as adaptation, logistics, and various coordination activities. As for today's launch, we're launching 38 satellites from 18 countries, a record of a number of nations on one launch. And I believe it's a good demonstration of our ability to cope with the challenges imposed by COVID-19.
It's very interesting, sounds very interesting. And can you tell me how many similar launches have you attended? And do you still feel any excitement, or at some point the rocket launch turns into something ordinary? I don't know, maybe like sending a parcel by mail?
I know what you mean. I've been in the space business for over 20 years, and I have seen dozens of launches, but every time there is a unique feeling of excitement until everything goes well. For our today's mission, it means that the Soyuz has performed nominally. The Fregat upper stage has delivered the payloads into their required orbits, and customers have installed initial contact with their satellites.
Okay, thank you, Evgeny. Thank you for the answers. And so, yes, a lot of what GK does sounds fantastic, but space is not something distant and unknown for the company employees because it's their daily work. And let's see what GK is in action.
Let's do that.
So, dear friends, we're back in the studio. Our live stream continues. There is less time before left before lunch, but we still have time to talk in detail about today's launch. So, Evgeny, can you tell us more about Soyuz 2 rocket? Because the whole world knows about its reliability. What are the reasons
Well, I can say that Soyuz 2 is an evolution of the original Soyuz launch vehicle, which made more than 1900 flights in various configurations during dozens of years of its successful operation. So Soyuz 2 has, of course, inherited all its predecessors' good points and features various upgrades and improvements. Yet Soyuz 2.1A launch vehicle that is going to fly today also delivers astronauts and cosmonauts to the ISS.
Okay, and can you tell me what is your view of further of Soyuz evolution? What does the future hold for us?
Well, Soyuz family continues to evolve. For example, Roscosmos is now developing Soyuz 5, a two-stage medium lift launch vehicle with an upper stage. And when it has an upper stage, it will be capable of delivering the payloads into various types of orbits, like sun-synchronous, high elliptical, geostationary transfer, geostationary. Its uplift capability to a low Earth orbit will be around 17 metric tons.
Okay, sounds very interesting, and I'm feeling very good that Russian cosmonautics is moving forward, and let's clearly demonstrate what Soyuz is today after all, because seeing is believing, right?
Correct. Let's do it.
Great, such a unique launch vehicle will blast off the day. And can you tell me, Evgeny, what else we do not know about Soyuz 2? What features you don't mention yet?
For example, it's an upgraded control system that Soyuz 2 features. It allows the launch vehicle to use extended fairing, which means a larger payload envelope, larger satellites inside the payload envelope, or larger number of satellites. And that is very important for our customers.
Yes, and I think that it's a high time to meet them.
Oh yes, let's do it. We will start off with Korea Aerospace Research Institute, or KARI, whose Earth observation satellite, CAS500-1, will go on a journey to orbit today.
Okay, and let's take a look.
Let's do it.
The satellite, the CAS500-1, was developed by Korean Aerospace Research Institute, which is the government-funded research institute in Korea. The CAS500-1, actually CAS means that the compact advanced satellite. Actually, the missions of satellites are land observation and change the detection and also disaster monitoring. The CAS500-1 was developed by KARI using the old KARI heritage of technology for developing lower service satellites. So we introduced the concept of the standard common spacecraft platform. I'm sure that the standard common platform can be easily developed, CAS500 series satellites, and also we can significantly reduce the cost and the period for development of the CAS500 series satellites. And one more important thing is that the KARI transport the satellite development technology to the Korean aerospace industry. I hope that they will lead the satellite development in Korea satellite programs. Successful launch of my satellite is the most important. So also the technical heritage of launch vehicle, launch heritage, and some successful launch ratio is also one of the main important thing to select the launch vehicle. 10 years ago, GK launch service, the team members of GK launch service had a good experience for successful launch of COMSAT-5 and COMSAT-3A in CARI programs. I think that the GK launch service is excellent launch service provider with many strong points. The satellite CAS500-2 will be launched in this Baikonur Cosmodrome by the GK launch service using the Soyuz 2.1, and also we already started in Korea for the second stage, and the next stage the CAS500 program satellite. And also we are continuing to develop the lowest orbit program in CARI. Its name is the COMSAT series satellite. Also in next month, the geostationary satellite for its name the GeoComSat-3 will be started to develop for the purpose of the communication of under some disaster condition and some space satellite-based augmentation system and data collection system.
Well, let's move on. Evgeny, which of the partners can you introduce next?
Well, I would like to introduce Astroscale, whose LZD satellite will demonstrate technologies designed to remove debris in outer space.
Sounds very interesting. It's great that we take care about the environment, not only on Earth, but also beyond it, including in space.
Indeed, this mission will show capabilities of docking and removing of an operative satellite from a low Earth orbit.
Yes, and let's take a look.
Sure.
Hello, my name is Nobu Okada, founder and CEO of Astroscale. Let me thank GK Launch Services for all the preparation work for the next launch. We are so excited to see the launch soon. The satellite we're going to launch with you is called ELSA-D. This is the world's first end-to-end debris removal demonstration. The density of the debris in space has reached to the critical level where chain reaction of the collision can happen at any near future. So it is quite important to remove the large objects now before they get smaller. So ELSA-D will open the door for the removal technology and business. While working on ELSA-D, we have more projects ongoing right now. So we are developing active debris removal technologies for removing the existing debris. Also, we are developing technologies for life action service in geostationary orbit. So we're going to have follow-up launches over the next 2-3 years. The reason why we chose GK Launch Services as our launch provider have multiple reasons. There are many various launch services in the world, but we believe your engineers are just great. Whenever we discuss kind of a technical discussions about fit check or separation test, we believe your team are so credible. So we feel very comfortable to work with you. So thank you, GK Launch Services. We are so excited to see the successful launch soon. Go ELSA-D!
It's now time we take a look at the activities of our other Japanese partner, CAS500 Space Corporation, launching in total 4 Earth observation satellites with us today, GRUS-1, B, C, D, and E.
Okay, and let's find out what they exactly will be doing in orbit.
Sure, let's find out.
Yes.
We're very excited for these 4 additional satellites, GRUS-1, B, C, D, and E. These 4 satellites will be addition to the 1A satellite that we have launched previously. With 5 GRUS satellites, AxoGlobe will now be able to cover the entire globe with a revisit rate of only 3 days. AxoGlobe It's truly our vision to empower anyone with access to space technology, to provide them with actionable data so that they can make more informed decisions. Now with AxoGlobe, you no longer have to own your own satellite, but you can just access our data. Axospace has always been working very hard to achieve our vision of space within your reach. So Axospace, we choose launch provider, not just based on the pricing, but also based on relationships. For us, choosing a launcher is a very, very important decision. So we take into considerations the relationships that we have been building so that they understand what we are looking for. Of course, price is important, and of course, they need to take us to where we want to go. But again, a strong relationship is what we value, because at the end of the day, this is truly a partnership. And that's why we chose GKLS for a very important mission.
The current COVID-19 situation makes its own corrections. As you can imagine, some of our colleagues who would like to be in the center of the scene, in other words, at Baikonur today, will contact us remotely. Let's ask them a few questions while we're waiting for the main event of the day.
Now we are talking to Nobuo Okada, founder and CEO, Astroscale Japan, and Yasu Yamazaki, Director and Chief Business Officer, Axel Japan.
Okay.
Okay.
Nobu-san, hello. Your satellite is a very interesting project related to the space debris removal. What prospects can you see in further development of the space debris removal trend?
Thank you, Evgeny-san. Thank you very much for all the support for today's launch. LCD is the world's first debris removal demonstration mission, and then this will open the door for on-orbit servicing in three aspects: technology, business, and rulemaking. So, prospects, I should say, by 2030, in 10 years, within 10 years, the on-orbit servicing, including debris removal, will become just a routine work in space to make sure the space is sustainable and safe enough.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you so much. And we also talk with Yasu Yamazaki, Director and Chief Business Officer, Exospace Japan. Good morning.
Yeah, Yasu, hello. We know that you are in a special situation on a quarantine in Taipei. So therefore, the picture of the quality of the picture may be a little bit different. And Yasu-san, Axospace is launching a constellation of microsatellites and of your AxoGlobe Earth observation system. Tell us about the main features of this constellation and the GRUS satellite itself, please.
Sure. First of all, thank you so much, friends at GKLS. For the audience, my name is Yasu, Director and CBO of Axospace. We are a space technology company based in Tokyo, Japan. We are really a dreamer and a believer that delivering more clarity of what is going on in our planet, we hope to truly create a climate for change, to have a greater appreciation for our Earth beauty and increased sense of responsibility to protect our only home. And by seeing the Earth from a greater distance, we believe it impacts how we see the world and develop new cognitive framework to make decisions. In order to realize our dreams, Axospace has been working very hard to develop a next-generation Earth observation platform called AxoGlobe.
All right. Thank you very much indeed, Yasu. And
thank you so much. Yes. And I also want to tell that your partner from Korean Aerospace Research Institute, Dr. Sin-Hun Lee, now he's here. He's with us. Executive Director of Satellite Research Directorate, Korea Aerospace Research Institute. Welcome this morning.
All right, Sun-Hun, what operations do you plan with your satellite right after its separation? And when do you expect to receive the first images from CAS500-1? Thank you.
The first action after the separation will be the deploy of solar panel to make secure the power. and the test image can be taken after initial activation and checkout. But the first image released in public domain will be about 4 to 6 months after the launch, because we have to perform the calibration and validation.
Okay, all right, very interesting. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks a lot, dear colleagues, for the very, very interesting conversation.
I would like to mention another important aspect of our launch. The matter is that on March 20th, it was a special day for the space industry of the whole country. Tunisia celebrated its Independence Day, and today we're launching their first satellite in the history of this wonderful country. It is a 3U CubeSat called Challenge 1. This is an Internet of Things satellite that uses an innovative communications technology designed and developed at Telnet facilities by the Tunisian expertise. And its launch will be the basis to create a new space ecosystem for Tunisia and its region.
Yes, and very interesting, because that's how GK launch opens a new page in the history of the whole country.
Indeed.
Indeed. And so this launch is also noteworthy, since GK launch has committed itself not only to commercial mission, but also to significant social objective. For example, in 2019, the International Astronautical Federation and GK Launch Services held a contest for a free 1U CubeSat launch.
Well, Sapienza University of Italy has become the winner of this competition. Its students presented the SIMBA project, System for Improving Monitoring of the Behavior of Wild Animals. The spacecraft will track animals across the Kenya national parks in their natural habitat.
Okay, now Christian Feitinger, IAF Executive Director, will tell us about the importance of such projects.
Free rides are a great opportunity for students to see their projects brought to life. It is indeed essential for students to combine theory with practice and to demonstrate their ability to solve practical engineering problems. Free rides are actually a springboard for them to enter the professional life with confidence. It is a great source of motivation and a way for them to improve their ability of innovative astronautic research. The business community is constantly looking for new talents. Initiatives like the free rides based on the IAF competition allow, on the one hand, companies to pick new talents, and on the other hand, students to show what they are capable of. It is a win-win situation. Such initiatives form a bridge on which both students and companies can meet and find mutual benefits. Since its creation in 1951, the Federation brings special attention to universities and students. With the next generation being a major part of our activity, we are constantly looking to support students in their academic development through recognition programs, workshops, competitions, and more. This IAF GK launch competition perfectly fits into our motto, connecting all space people. And by space people, we mean all those who wish to be part of the space scene.
I would like to speak of the GK Launch Services team and announce the competition for free launch of 1U CubeSat on the first commercial mission of GK Launch Services.
Our main role was to give visibility to the IAF GK launch competition, and it was with great pleasure that we received applications from all over the world and that we witnessed the students' enthusiasm. As final word, I would like to encourage all universities that have a space interest to become a member of the Federation. As you can see, there are many things that we can achieve together.
Evgeny, I know that the most spectacular moment is when the rocket lifts off from the launch table and goes into the sky. But I know that this is just only the tip of iceberg. Can you tell me about the previous and the continuous work? I know that it took for about more than 2 months. Can you tell us more about it? Can you tell us about what is happening on this time and what is now happening on Baikonur?
Oh yes, let's take a look at a short video with the different snapshots from the launch campaign that we have performed. Indeed, the launch campaign started about 2 months ago, right after the New Year, and the aircraft brought the CAS500-1 satellite to Baikonur Cosmodrome, and all other payloads were also delivered. And they were taken into the payload preparation facilities, where the equipment was unpacked and standalone processing of the satellites started. And then the satellites that required fueling were loaded with propellant. In parallel, the Soyuz launch vehicle assembly activities were ongoing as well. And also the Fregat upper stage was processed at the same time, fueled, and made ready for the integration with the satellites. And you can see the various videos and pictures from this process of the launch campaign. It was a very nice and interesting launch campaign for all of us. We worked as one team and really made it happen that we're here today ready for this launch. And so enjoy these little videos from Baikonur launch campaign. You can see the assembly of the rocket itself now. Very spectacular. And yes, fueling of Fregat and integration of the payloads onto the Fregat. You can see these are the small satellites and the deployers with CubeSats. This is the fairing, and shortly you will see how the fairing is installed on the rocket. This is one of the strap-on boosters being integrated as a packet on the launch vehicle. You can see it's being lowered. Various handling operations on the installation of the payloads on the Fregat. You can see Smallsats. And so very interesting and very exciting for all of us. Now you can see operations on the Fregat, and with the Fregat and the payloads, you can see the CubeSat deployers. That was quite a big effort for all of us. Big team worked all the time. And you can see CAS500-1 on top of the frame, and the smaller payloads on the lower tier. And yes, some tilting and handling operations with the entire stack. And now you can see the fairing installation on the Fregat stack to make a nose module. This is called encapsulation. And now you can see the logos on the fairing.
Yes. Great and fantastic everything what we see here. Yes, but I suppose that many people will be curious to know what a typical launch mission of a Soyuz launch vehicle with a Fregat upper stage looks like, and we have an opportunity to show you this.
Oh yes, the video will give you a visual representation of our mission today, and during which Fregat will form 3 different orbits to separate all the satellites. And the last burn of the upper stage will ensure it's the orbit and splashdown in the Pacific Ocean.
And so I would like to add that the Fregat reliability factor is 97.7%, and that makes it one of the most reliable launch vehicle upper stage worldwide.
Indeed, more than 300 Russian and foreign satellites have been already delivered to their orbits using the Fregat upper stage.
Yes, and friends, there is another reason to call you and to call today's launch unique. For the first time in decades, the Soyuz-T launch vehicle will be presented in a new painting design. Evgeny, can you tell us more about this?
Absolutely. Today, Soyuz is presented to you not in the usual gray and orange color combination, but a new white and blue color pattern. The new color pattern was inspired by the Vostok launch vehicle that is on a permanent display at the Moscow Exhibition of Economic Achievements. And the fairing of the launch vehicle will continue to be of its original white color. As for the rest, the orange will be changed to blue, and the gray will be replaced with the white one. And it is assumed that future GK launch missions will use this color design of the rocket.
Yes. And now we will witness another key moment of the launch, the rocket roll out to the launch pad. Evgeny, can you explain us what is happening next?
With pleasure. Let's take a look at a short video demonstrating that. You can see the fully assembled nose module with all the Fregat and the payloads inside, and this is the Soyuz third stage. And you can see now how the air supply hoses are attached to the fairing. Now they are integrating the nose module with the third stage. And you can see this mechanical connection. And then the stack will go to be integrated with the rest of the rocket. Then the fully assembled launch vehicle will travel on a special train platform to the launch pad. And you can see it's moving very slowly. And you can see the protective shroud on the fairing to maintain necessary temperature and humidity environment. And once the rocket has arrived at the launch pad, a special mechanism will turn it into a vertical position. And the gantries will move on the launch vehicle to start its operations to prepare it for the flight. And this is the real operations that were being performed with this rocket. And now you can see that the rocket is being readied for launch. Thank you.
So what we have been waiting for all today's broadcast is about to happen. Fasten your seatbelts. The launch will take place in any minute now.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, so we're waiting for the liftoff, and you can see the rocket poised for launch. It's just a couple of minutes left before the liftoff, so we're waiting for this beautiful rocket to take off today. It's less than 1 minute before the liftoff. So it's counting, and the rocket is scheduled to be launching very soon. You can see the gantries are going off the rocket. So we're about to go. Just seconds before we go. So you can see the ignition and We're about, yes, now we are taking off, and we have the liftoff of this beautiful rocket on its flight into orbit. And so now we will be watching the flight sequence. How beautiful it is, you can see, ladies and gentlemen. That's a very fantastic view of Soyuz. We'll be in the clouds soon already, and now we will go into the launch sequence. So the first upcoming event will be the separation of the first stage. That's going to be in about less than a minute and a half. That's about 117 seconds into flight. So it looks like everything is nominal right now. And the rocket continues its ascent. So it already has a control system operating properly. So we're going higher and higher. It's already 80 seconds into flight, and so everything is nominal. So 90 seconds from liftoff. All parameters of the launch vehicle are nominal, so we're good. 100 seconds. So everything is okay. And we're about to separate the strap-on boosters. So the rocket pitch, yaw, and roll parameters are nominal. So we're about to separate the strap-on boosters. Separation of the strap-on boosters confirmed. Separation of the first stage confirmed, in other words. Now the second stage motor parameters are nominal. So we're about 140 seconds into flight. So our next upcoming event is the separation of the second stage, or the core stage. That will be in about 287 seconds into flight. Everything looks nominal. It's 160 seconds from liftoff. Rocket continues its ascent. It's 170 seconds. All flight parameters are nominal. 180 seconds. Everything looks good. 190 seconds. Rocket continues its flight. Ready, 200 seconds. Everything looks good. We will have the separation of the second stage in just slightly over 1 minute. 220 seconds. All flight parameters are nominal. And there will be just a series of events after the second stage separation. So we will also have we're expecting the second stage separation, and then lower skirt jettisoning and the fairing drop. So all flight parameters readout is nominal. The rocket continues its ascent, 260 seconds from liftoff. Everything looks good. 270 seconds. We're expecting the separation of the second stage any second. We have confirmed separation of the second stage, fairing drop and lower skirt jettisoning. The third stage and with the nose module continues its ascent. Our next milestone to reach will be the cutoff of the third stage main engine, and that's going to be about 525 seconds into flight. Right now everything looks good. "330 seconds, everything looks nominal. So flight parameters are nominal. The rocket continues its ascent. 350 seconds. "360 seconds into flight. Roll pitch, your parameters are nominal. Everything looks good. "380 seconds. Flight continues. Seconds since the liftoff. Everything looks okay. We're less than 2 minutes from the separation of the third stage. Flight parameters are nominal. The rocket continues its flight. It's almost 440 seconds from liftoff. All readings are good. We're approaching the next milestone of today's flight. That's going to be the separation, the cutoff first of the third stage main engine, followed shortly by the separation of the nose module. So 470 seconds into flight. All flight parameters are nominal. We're going good. "490 seconds from liftoff. The rocket continues its ascent. The flight parameters nominal. 500 seconds. Everything looks good. 510 seconds. All flight readings are nominal. 520. Everything looks good. We have cut off of the third stage engine and separation of the nose module. So now the flight continues.
So, friends, the launch has taken place, but we continue to track the spacecraft injection process. Evgeny, can you tell me what is going to happen next?
Oh yes, the separation of CAS500-1 satellite will occur about 1 hour from the liftoff on the first orbit. Then in about 2.5 hours, cruise satellites will separate on the second orbit. And in about 4 hours from the liftoff, the remaining satellites will separate on the third orbit. And the end of the mission will be in about 4.5 hours from liftoff.
Okay, and let's switch for the flight. President.
Sure, absolutely.
Sure, flight and Thank you so much, Evgeny, for the very interesting conversation and for opportunity for me to be part of such a unique and memorable moment.
It's been a pleasure, and I'm happy to have hosted this broadcast with you. A really exciting and memorable moment for myself. As I said at the beginning, no matter how many launches you've seen, each one gives you this incomparable feeling.
I agree with you, you're right. And you can get all further information about the flight and the spacecraft orbit insertion in the social networks of GK Launch. You can find links to them in the broadcast description. And I congratulate you on the fact that the Soyuz 2 ascent phase has been completed nominally. And I wish success to GK Launch services and all your customers. While today the outer space has become a little closer and clearer to all of us. Have a great day.
Thank you, and bye-bye.
Thank you.